What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Downright Random. We are your hosts. I am Mike. This is Janine.
Hey.
And welcome to...
I don't even know.
I don't know.
Even bother.
All right. Welcome to us.
I need some chapstick.
She needs chapstick.
But go ahead. Yeah.
We're trying to get back into the swing of things after having a break. Hope we just put up other podcast the other day.
Yep.
And we hope that you keep enjoying everything and like what we're doing. We welcome you to subscribe and like and comment and share and hit the bell on so you always know about upcoming stuff that we're doing. And in the last podcast, you said that you had an idea for something.
Yeah, because you mentioned...
You didn't tell me what it was.
Yeah,
so.
You mentioned something about a manager that you had an issue with at one of your jobs. So I figured we can share past manager stories. Because I have 2 stories that I can talk about.
Okay.
Now, we're not going to say what places that it actually happened at because...
I mean, if you guess it and you're right, I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah. So I'm not going to say where it happened, but I had 2 things. Do you want me to start? Or
you can start.
Okay, yeah, because yours is going to be kind of animated. So my best friend and I moved out. Well, not out of state. We just moved someplace else. And I got a job at a clothing store or whatever. And there was a manager there that she was really cool. She was kind of close to our age and everything. And so she kept saying, oh, do you want to hang out? Do you want to hang out? And so, I don't know. Sometimes I'm okay with mixing business and pleasure, but I was just we didn't really know a lot of people out there. So I was like, you know what, fine. She knew some people out there. We were still in the going to club kind of age or whatever. And so my best friend and I decided to go with her. And I'm really trying not to say names or any place. So when we get there, so she didn't tell us where we were going.
Yeah.
She just said, oh, dress cute, whatever. So we, got our clothes on, dressed cute. So when we got there, we realized it was a hood bar. And if you don't know what a hood bar is, it's a bar in a hood. So not typically our crowd, but I think we're one of those, I'm one of those people where I can try to I can mingle with a lot of different people, but it was kind of I was on my P's and Q's at this point. So we went in, we were just okay, the music was good. So we were kind of whatever. And she kept going to the bathroom, my manager. And so I was like, why does she keep going to the bathroom? She kept leaving us and going to the bathroom. So then my best friend was like, what's wrong with her? Why does she keep going to the bathroom? And I was like, I don't know. Maybe, she's touching up her makeup or something. I don't know. So then probably after about 4 or 5 times, she came out and she had some white stuff on her nose. And so my best friend looks at me and she's like, and then my manager walked away and then she goes, is that Coke on her nose? We're here with somebody how are we going to get out of here? So by this point, my manager was out of it. I don't know obviously she was doing drugs in the bathroom and everything, and she was drinking. So in that moment, I'm thinking, crap, she drove us here because she came and picked us up and drove us here. I had no idea really where we were. And so thank goodness we had our phones and everything. And I had a friend that I actually met and I had to explain where we were. And I was telling him the name of the bar and everything like that. And he was like, go outside. If there's a gas station, stand in there and don't go anywhere else. And I was like, wait, why? And he was like, I have no idea why she took you into that neighborhood. And so I'm talking, and then I tell my best friend, we have to go in here. He said, don't leave or whatever. And of course, she's freaking out. And he came to get us. I don't even think she realized that we were gone. And the next, I don't think I worked.
She's probably still talking to you.
She probably was. So I think that was on a Saturday.
Even on the ride home. She's like, you guys have a good time?
And so
awfully
the
quiet
next
back
time I went to work, she was just like, did you guys have a good time? She didn't apologize for anything. And I didn't say anything. I was just like, okay, now I know not to hang out with her. And it was pretty bad. So yeah, you shouldn't really mix business with, but I didn't even after that, I was kind of just okay, I know what kind of person she is and everything, but
yeah,
that was pretty bad. And to see that was your manager and to know
people are crazy.
Yeah.
So before I get into the other manager one, interestingly enough, there was another manager at this one sign shop I worked at. And actually there's two. Okay, there's two stories with that one. So I'll go into the first one.
Okay.
So I worked at the sign shop, and there was this other guy who was like the production manager in the back with me, that was above me and stuff like that. And then we had the main general manager. And I don't think anyone really liked the production manager. He was rude and all this other stuff. No one liked him. And so there was one day that the general manager stepped out to deal with something. I can't remember what. It's like it was years ago. I can't remember the entire thing. But I liked him. I'm still friends with him. And he was a good guy. I like him a lot. But this production manager guy, no one liked him, not even the manager. And there were customers up front. And all of a sudden, he starts talking crap about the general manager, just going off, like saying all this stuff, saying what a horrible person he is, and just saying like all these nasty, mean things to also customers about him in the shop and how it's run and everything like that. When it was not true. Like, I mean, I was there long enough to see how things were going and stuff like that. And I was like, this is kind of messed up. And so there were two and like employee entrances kind of thing for, I mean, customers came in through also, but there were 3 main entrances to the building. 2 of them like the employees used. And there was a side one and a back one. So the general manager was outside the back. And so I just went outside and I told him that so-and-so is saying all this stuff about you in front of customers, to customers and everything like that. And so he was like, all right. And then walked inside. And then I just stood back for like a minute. Like, I mean, seriously, like 60 seconds maybe. And then I come in, the other guy was gone. Like, he like somehow disappeared. Like, through the side door was gone. And I like looked outside, his truck's gone, everything's gone. He was fired that fast.
Wow.
And we were all better for it.
Wow.
And then I became production manager.
That was his plan all along. You're like, here's my chance.
But no, I mean, he was rude. He was very rude.
Wow. Yeah.
And like, he's also stole. He stole from the company all the time. There was a time that...
I have a similar story, actually.
There was a time that he was doing a side job, but using the shop's vinyl and material and computers and plotters to cut everything, and then did that side job just to make the money himself. He didn't like bring anything to the shop. He stole all that stuff.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, even if he had his own material, but he was using the machines, that's still kind of stealing, because it's not Kinko's. It's like you could just go in there and make your own copies or something. So yeah, that's crazy.
So he was not a good person at all. I don't know what happened to him. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But
that's funny that happened that fast.
Yeah. And I came in, I was like, where did he go? And they're like, oh, he's gone. Everyone inside is like, you missed it, man.
Oh,
you missed all of it.
Man.
I was like, what?
So I kind of have a similar story. So I worked at, I'll say it was a food place. I worked at a food place, and I, at the time, was not a manager, but it was owned by a husband and wife. And my manager, every once in a while, like I would open the store with him or whatever, and sometimes I would get there and he wasn't there, and so like I'd have to call the actual owners and be like, so and so didn't get here or whatever. So then corporate actually sent, because this was like a franchise, so corporate actually sent someone there to kind of like continue training people or whatever. Right. And it was a girl, and the manager was a guy. So they started getting kind of close to each other, and I didn't think anything of it, because like I would open the store with them, and I would start setting up stuff in the front, and they were always in the back and just kind of doing whatever. And so one day they got there like, golly, I want to say they got there probably about 45 minutes late. And I called, and I was trying to call the owners, and I couldn't get them on the phone or whatever. So I just kind of stood outside and waited. So they finally get there, and then they went to the bathroom together, and they're making all this noise. So I called the owners again, and I said, and they finally picked up, and I was like, yeah, they were 45 minutes late, and now they're in the bathroom together, and they're making all these noises. And they said, okay, we'll be there in like 5 minutes. They got there. He got fired, and I got his job. It was great. But Hey, I gave them I gave them a chance. I gave them a chance.
Yeah.
And they kept messing up, and it was annoying. Cause can you imagine, like, did you ever have to like wait for your manager to come in? Like, you know, you're standing outside and you're just like waiting for them to open the door or whatever. Like, it was so annoying.
I mean, not really. Because the retail I worked at,
yeah,
like, there was always tons of people. And then at the sign shop, I had a key.
Okay.
So, since I was a manager, I opened up the shop.
Yeah. So like, and with this place, it was a food place, and there were certain things that had to be made before we opened. Yeah. So I was in the front, basically trying to prep everything while they're like doing whatever in the back. And I guess the reason why they probably went in the bathroom was because the owners, they used to watch the cameras. Remember I told you they used to watch the cameras and stuff like that. So they probably were like, we're gonna go in the bathroom and get kind of whatever. And so, yeah, and they got there within like 5 minutes, and then they knocked on the door, told them to get out, and then they were like, do you want to be manager? And I was like, all right. As long as I get to keep my tips. So, but yeah,
so another manager.
Let's get to the...
No, this is...
Oh, no.
So,
the build-up.
So another story with the sign shop is there was a manager, and I kind of, like, he was okay. Mm-hmm. He wasn't like... He was too much trying to be buddy with people.
Yeah.
And that kind of got him in some trouble a little bit and stuff like that. But I left the sign shop. But I was still friends with people at the shop, so I would just sometimes just come hang out and just see how people are doing and stuff like that. But the manager was gone one day. And I was like, where did he go? And they're like, oh, you didn't hear? I was like, no, what? It's like, oh, he got fired. It's like, how did he get fired? He was doing drugs in the shop.
What?
And I looked it up online. I found his mugshot and everything. There was a whole bunch of stuff. And it wasn't even his first time.
What makes people brave enough to do that?
I don't know. Yeah. Addictions.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, so that was a quick one. That wasn't super. But yeah, it goes back with your other one. But no, so the other one was working retail. I'm not going to say where. Some people may guess. I don't know, depending if they work there or not. So I worked in one of the departments, and in, like, it was a pretty big place. I'll say it was an electronics store. That's all I'll say. And in the middle of the store was where a lot of, like, thieves would steal stuff. Like, there were like a lot of blind spots and stuff, and they tried to reorganizing the middle part as much as they could. But just the way that it was set up, it was hard, and there were a lot of smalls. So most of the time when I got hired there, they said that when you go to your break, you go to lunch, you go to the bathroom, like, always go through the middle and walk it. And, like, it's not the most direct route for where my location was to the break room or the bathroom. But they said you always have to make a presence. So if people are stealing, you kind of, like...
There's always
your
some
presence
kind of
will cause them to. Yeah. There's always an employee walking through there. I mean, there are employees in that section, but if they're helping someone, you always want another person walking through. To just be a body there. And so I took that to heart, and I took it to heart because we actually caught people stealing all the time. And when you got caught stealing, you got paraded around the store before you got put into the back of a cop car. The manager that was there at the time when I got hired, everyone loved him. He was the manager that everyone wanted. And and I worked under him for 4 months or so, maybe a little bit longer, but around that. And everyone loved him. He was the best. Like, if you had a problem, he would be there to help you, and he could take anybody's problem and fix it. Doesn't matter what the problem was. He'd know how to fix it. But then after the time I'd been there, even corporate loved him so much that they built a brand new store and was giving him that store as his store to run.
And it was too far for you to...
Oh yeah, it was completely different state. Like, they were building it somewhere completely different. And I was like, amazing. That shows what kind of, like, if you have dedication to where you work, you will get rewarded, and people do appreciate you. And I thought it was great. And then the new manager came in. And I will say his name. His name is Mario.
Oh, no.
Everyone hated Mario.
Oh, man.
and that's why I dislike him so much. I will say his name.
Yeah.
But he was not about, I guess, corporate the same way.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the times, I don't know if it was the first time, but one of the times that him and I got into it
Mm-hmm.
was I was on my break,
Mm-hmm.
and like I had been working like all day,
Mm-hmm.
and I hadn't taken a break yet because we were busy all day.
Yeah.
And we had another guy that just clocked in
Mm-hmm.
and got in there. And the manager in our section, or supervisor, I guess, in our
Mm-hmm.
section was like, "Oh, you can go take a break.
Mm-hmm.
Go take a 15-minute break." So I went over and I sat down
Mm-hmm.
into the break room,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, "Okay, I can take a break. We'll just relax for a minute and then
Mhm.
just do this." So I just sat down. I just watched some TV, and I was just sitting there. I was in there not even 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Mario comes in and starts. I was the only one in there at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And he starts like yelling at me, saying, "What are you doing in here?"
Mm-hmm.
I said, I'm on my break."
Mm-hmm.
He goes, "You're not allowed to have a break." I said, "I do. I'm allowed to have a break." And then he got like in my face and was telling me to get back to my section, that I shouldn't be taking a break. During these hours of the day, no one is allowed to take a break.
No.
And I said, "When was that?" I don't remember ever hearing that.
Mhm.
That during these hours, the hours that you scheduled me,
Yeah.
that I can't take a break. Like, that makes no sense.
Mhm.
That's like 2/3 of the day.
Yeah.
And so I said my piece. I was very, I guess, I was respectful in a manner, because he was my boss. And then so then I walked back, and that was like the first issue. And then the second time was on my lunch break.
And
this was an actual-
on breaks.
This was an actual like lunch break,
Uh-huh.
and I hadn't eaten all day. My supervisor was like, "Go get your lunch," and I was like, "All right, cool." So I went and got my lunch, and I sat down, and I started eating, and I didn't even get like, I was maybe in there for like 15 minutes. I didn't even like get really into my lunch, and here comes Mario. And again, since we've already had an altercation, this was probably like within like a week,
Wow.
so it wasn't like just like a
Yeah,
month, like
the
it was
time
within a
went
week.
by. Yeah.
And so my face is still fresh in his mind. And he fussed at me again, saying that I'm not allowed to take. I said I hadn't taken a lunch all day. I need to take my lunch. And he was like, "Nope, these hours, no one's allowed to take a break. You have to be on the floor during these hours." I'm like, "Are you serious? Come on. I haven't eaten all day. I need to take my break." And he goes, "Get on the floor." And then, so this time, I gave him a little more lip. And then I got up, and I put my lunch away. And then I started walking through, and he's like following me behind now. And again, it's not the most direct route to go through the center of the store, but that's what I've done. That's what I've always done. That's what I was taught because of theft and all this other stuff. So when I come out, instead of walking directly to my section, I go up, and then I go through the middle to just make a scene where I am, or my presence. And then he cuts through, not the middle, but he cuts through like the shorter way, and cuts me off like right before I get to my thing, and starts like yelling at me, asking me why I'm dawdling and why I'm wasting my time and not going just directly to my section when he told me to go to my section. And I said, because we are supposed to go through the middle and make a presence because of the customers in there and theft and all this other stuff. And he goes, "When I tell you to go straight to your thing, you do not go through the middle. You go straight to it. You go the most direct route."
And then you stab them in the neck. No, I'm just kidding.
I wasn't far off. And he got in my face.
Wow.
And as you know, that does not happen.
Yeah.
And so I stood up to him.
Yeah.
And I spoke my mind in the middle of the store with customers. I didn't care. And I told him exactly what I thought of him and what I thought about like that, like the things I had to do and the way he was not doing them and all this other stuff. And I was like, I was not happy. I was pissed. And so like I said, like tons of stuff. I was yelling at him.
Did anybody try to stop you guys?
Oh no,
none of the other employees.
Everyone probably loved it. I'm pretty sure there may be a YouTube video if someone still had that footage. I mean, it was a long time ago. It was probably like 2002,
Yeah.
something like that. But So if someone ever recorded that with anything, I'm pretty sure it's out there somewhere. But like, and then we got into it, and I cursed him out. I told him that he's a horrible manager, and I said lots of stuff, like lots of stuff. I can't even remember everything I said, but I know like I may have been hurtful.
You were going for the jugular.
Oh, I was.
With your words.
And he threatened to fire me right there in the spot, and said I was irreplaceable, or I was replaceable. And I disagreed with him, and I told him why, and I told him like what I knew about the products, and I asked him if he knew about those products, and he didn't have a response, and I was like, see, I'm not replaceable, am I? Because I know all this stuff, and you don't even know this stuff. You don't even know your store.
Yeah.
And so yeah, and then the next week.
Oh gosh.
The next week. Was
it was a holiday time or something?
No.
Oh, okay.
So I wrecked my truck. And I had to go to work the next day. And I could not, where I lived, from the store, it was almost like 18 miles. So that's a good ways to go. And at that time, like, I wasn't able to go to school because no one was able to get me. And then I wasn't able to really get to work. And the amount of money it was going to cost me on a cab to go there was going to be way more money than I was going to make.
Yeah.
And I would have to have gone there and come back home. And also come back home, it was going to be a late shift, so I was going to have to find a cab like at 11 o'clock midnight.
Yeah.
And that's not easy. So it was not going to be a good day. So I called in and said I couldn't come. Mario picked up.
Oh dear.
And said that I was going to come to work.
Yeah.
He didn't care how I got there.
Wow.
And he didn't care that I was, out of a vehicle. He didn't care anything. He's like, get a taxi. I don't care how you get here. You're going to get here. And I quit. Because it was awful working for him. It was awful. Yeah. And then the new store opened up. Like,
that other...
the other one.
Yeah.
And that store opened up, and I was like going in there to like shop. He was the new manager in there.
Shut up.
I walked right out.
Oh my gosh.
I walked right out.
So that makes you wonder, that whole thing that like with the first manager, you said that he got his own new store. Like, why did they transfer him over to that store?
I don't know.
Did they think he was doing a good job? Or
I think he was the original manager.
No. Like Mario, you said Mario went to the new store. So why did they transfer him to that new store?
I don't know. That I don't know, because they didn't close the old store.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they moved him over there, but that store did not do good.
Yeah.
Because that store did really bad in sales, and I know that because I know people who work there.
Yeah.
And also, it moved 3 times.
Yeah.
They moved the store 3 times,
hoping that it was gonna change something, but it's like no.
They moved it down the street.
Yeah.
And then they moved it back to the old location.
Like, who does that?
And then they moved it across the street into all different sizes.
Yeah.
The original location was a certain size, but they moved to a smaller location. And then I guess maybe they got enough money back because their rent wasn't the same, so they went back to the old location, and then they were losing money again, so they went to another location.
Yeah.
No. But I didn't really shop in there anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, after I knew that he was the manager, no. And the few people that I knew that worked there that I went to school with, they said that he was still the same.
Wow.
That he, like, when I would ask them, like, is he a jerk? They'd be like, oh, yeah, he's horrible. He was one of the worst managers.
I mean, you were a manager, obviously, as you said, and I was a manager also. And I feel like me as a manager, like, when, like, I always wanted my employees and everything like that, my staff, my team, I always said my team, to come to me if they needed to have fun. But then when, like the store got busy or something like that, like everybody has to know their job. You help one another. And I'm not going to talk down to you. It's one of those things where I think some people, they just they get like in this power trip.
Oh, yeah.
And they sit in the back of the office and then they come out on the floor and they're like watching everybody and they're like trying to make everyone feel like intimidated. I never wanted people to feel like, oh God, the manager's here. You got to start like acting like, like you don't know how to function. It's like, I don't know why people become like these, like I said, they're on like
Oh,
this
he
power
was-
trip or whatever.
He was probably just a bully, and he was just probably upset because he couldn't play Hamlet back in high school or something.
I don't know, but yeah. So
But yeah.
Mario.
Yep.
Oh, but I think that's my only, like, I think I only had the two managers. Like I had another situation. Well, it wasn't really with managers, but I had another like store thing that probably should have went to a lawsuit, but we're not going to get into that right now. But yeah, sometimes managers suck, and sometimes they party too hard. So, but yeah, if you guys have like manager stories, let us know. If there's a manager that you worked with that was either good or bad, I've had good managers.
I've had good
also.
managers, and there are some people who I absolutely liked working
like,
for.
Did you have a Mario? Did you have your own Mario? But yeah, share your manager story. And if you are a manager yourself, like how do you approach it? Like how do you approach your team and all this other stuff? Or are you just like a jerk manager? You're probably not going to admit it because you probably don't know. But your staff does. Yep. They're probably calling you that behind your back, but yeah. Anyhow,
no, there are people who I enjoyed working for, and I know there's lots of people out there, and some of those people have actually changed the way I look at things and do things. And like, I think that goes with a lot of people that, even if it's just a small role model like that, sometimes it's necessary. Yeah. But then there's those people that you just can't live, you can't work with, can't live with, can't do anything with. It's it's awful.
Yeah.
But so anyways, guys, definitely share your stories. Leave us a comment below. Like, share, hit the bell on for future videos.
Subscribe, yep. All that good stuff. Follow us on Instagram, Downright Random.
Yep. And we'll check you on the next one. All right.
Peace.